W.Rowland Ding crashed his plane. He was a celebrity test pilot of his age. Children would look up in the skies and see him flying his plane with his name Ding underneath the wings. They'd be standing in nearby Soldiers Field at Roundhay Park. But it was on that fateful day, on May the 12th, 1917, that his plane crashed. And 100 years ago that happened, and now 100 years on, there's a plaque in memory of W.Rowland Ding, unveiled today by his grandson Julian, his great-grandson Charlie. So Julian, first of all, why do you think we need a plaque to your grandfather?
Well, William Rowland Ding was an extraordinary pilot, and he was the chief test pilot at the time for the Blackburn aircraft company. And it's very much thanks to people like him that we have the aviation industry that we do today. And I think it's only fitting that people like him should be remembered for his achievements and his courage and his vision.
And Charlie, you've been growing up with the story of your great-grandfather. What are your thoughts about him?
It's an inspiration, if I'm honest. For someone to build a plane from scraps that were deemed unfit and to fly it so expertly and with such passion, it just goes to show really that if you want to achieve something, put your mind to it and you can.
Do we know what the weather was like 100 years ago today?
Actually, it was rather like it is now.
People were out looking in the sky.
There were hundreds, if not thousands of people. They would come out to watch Ding fly. Don't forget, this is the early days of aviation. Planes were nowhere near as commonplace as they are today, so to see a test pilot take off from Soldiers Field and fly around the area was a crowd attractor.
So where will this plaque end up, do you think?
Well, we're thinking of, there's a wall on the side of Oakwood Grange just over there, which is where they took his body originally, and we think if we can get permission, that's probably where we'll have it put up.
Well, the memory of Rowland Ding lives on. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back to you, Andy.
I had no idea we'd get a crowd like this, and it's extraordinarily gratifying. My name is Julian Ding, and I would like to tell you a little bit about my grandfather, William Rowland Ding. Before I do, I have a special thanks go out to Matthew Ridley, who made all this happen for me, and also my cousin Roland, who unfortunately can't be with us here today. 100 years ago today, almost to the minute, William Rowland Ding took off from Soldiers Field in a Blackburn Company BE-2C biplane. Shortly afterwards, the plane crashed on this spot, killing him instantly and leaving behind a wife and two very small children. Roland was born in 1885. He was educated in Canterbury and then Finsbury Technical College. It's interesting to note that one of his school chums at Finsbury Technical College was none other than Frederick Handley Page. By the age of 19, Roland was managing a council generating station in London. By the age of 22, he had married. It was purely by chance that in 1911, at the age of 26, whilst on holiday in the West Country, he happened to attend a county show and he watched an aerobatic display by a pilot called Bentfield Hucks, who was flying a Blackburn Mercury monoplane at the time. Now, Hucks was the first person in England, or first Briton, to ever loop an aircraft. Roland was clearly impressed by this and completely taken with the idea of flying himself. As soon as Hucks landed, Roland asked him for a job, casting aside the security of the job he already had in London, and probably much to the dismay of his wife. Roland got the job as secretary to Huck for the duration of his displays, and thus took his first steps into an aviation industry career. However, it wouldn't be till April 1914 that Roland would have the opportunity to attend the new Hendon Flying School and obtain his own pilot's licence after a whole 3.5 hours of flying. It was clear he was a natural pilot and born to fly. Roland went on to become chief test pilot for Blackburns. He flew more miles in a greater number of planes than anyone else in this country at that time.
competition.
Thank you. He gave flying displays and joyrides up and down the country, as well as lectures on flying and aeronautical engineering. He survived 5 crash landings.
Oh, gosh.
Lay that. I wonder if we could all now please observe a minute's silence.
I want to say how pleased I am to represent the Lord Lieutenant here today on this very special occasion and a very special family occasion. And I do want to thank Councillor McNiven as well for letting me know about this great event. It seems almost unreal when we look at the commercial aircraft that we fly on today to our holiday destinations, or we see fighter planes going over tremendous speeds overhead. But it was planes initially flown by your ancestors that led to these technical developments. And without them, without test pilots, nothing could have been achieved in aviation at all. We owe a great deal to Rowland and all like Rowland who have contributed to aerial development. I'm also very interested, of course, in the Blackburn factory, which he was the chief test pilot. Probably not too many people know that probably the work that he did as part of his test pilot led to further developments of aircraft. And one of those aircraft from that factory disabled the rudder of battleship Bismarck and now enabled our battleships, King George V and HMS Rodney, to destroy her. So aviation has played a particularly important role. And once again, I think Rowland would have been pleased to know that his factory had played such a momentous event in the Second World War. So thank you very much indeed to the family for inviting me here, and I shall now lay a wreath.